What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense, and this Married to Medicine stuff, in between my deep dives, I've been checking it all out. It's a hot mess. We got to talk about it. Hit that like button as the intro plays, and somebody requested this intro, so for whoever requested it, she's back, y'all.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I want to make it make sense.
Make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense, boo.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
She's trying to run. She can't run. Now who can't run? Now who can't run? Who can't run? Yeah.
Sharonda is back, y'all. Sharonda is back in the mix. I love Sharonda. Angelique Taylor, thank you so much for joining the membership. You joined at a good time because there's no way that your boy cannot do my giveaway when we reach 100K. There's absolutely no way. And not only are we going to do those giveaways, I'm taking money out of my own pocket. We're going to do cash apps all throughout that giveaway. So it's a good time for the membership. And it's also a good time to be a straight shooter because I have been stressed. I have been strapped for time, and I just have not been able to get through everything. But the important things have been gotten to. The lady that we were helping who was fleeing her abuser, she is now out of that situation and in someplace safe, due in no small part to all of your generosity. She and I have been talking. We could not do the Amazon. We couldn't get the timing right for the Amazon stuff. And because she is a person who is fleeing her abuser, locking down an address is not a great thing. So shout out to everybody who donated. She wants to come and tell her story. She wants to show her face. We're talking about that. I don't think it's a great idea, but all that is coming. Trust and believe. Somebody who I've been talking about with all of these crazy court cases has actually reached out to me for an interview. So that might happen next Tuesday. It's a lot going on. What's up with this sweater? Y'all, I haven't been in the Christmas spirit, but I went ahead and I'm trying. For those of you who don't believe in it, I get it, but I'm a Christmas person and I'm trying, y'all. So anyway, how do I become a member? There's a link in every description to take you to the membership. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about all the money that was raised. You guys don't know what it meant for her to be fleeing from her home and be able to, every time there was a bill that was related to storage, movers, all those things, we took care of all that. That's crazy that so many people showed up and showed out just to say this is a Black single mother who has seen some really, really tough times, 2 different abusers. So thank you guys, but let's get into this. I want to start with the Dr. Jackie stuff because this blew up the internet. And then we'll get into Mariah's Shade Fest because Mariah was in rare form and I loved it. Yeah, this sweater's the fool. The sweater is a fool, but it's okay. Y'all, I know y'all have some opinions on this. It started here.
More dramatic, and that you go to the doctor and you complain and you complain and you complain, and you're not taken serious because you cried wolf the entire pregnancy.
That ain't me, boo. I don't know what you talking about, but go ahead.
I didn't say you. I just said as African American women, we want to also make sure you're being serious with your doctor and not playing the game so I can take you off work. Because then we see you 25 times in the pregnancy. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem.
Okay, y'all. So that was the clip that got etched out. Let me say this, because I like Dr. Jackie. I have always liked Dr. Jackie. She has this calming force on this particular show. But I call it like I see it. Even though Dr. Jackie very eloquently explained when she called out Buffy's infertility that she was only doing it because she talked to everybody on the cast from the podium and talked about something that they had in common. I get it. I still feel like it should have never been said. With that being said, Buffy had every right to be upset. Buffy is not my favorite person. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a straight shooter. It is what it is. Buffy's not my favorite person, but Buffy has every right to be upset. Now, what was strange to me, because I'm gonna be shouting a few people out that you might be surprised. What was strange to me is how she left the show. I think she said that she left on her own accord. She left the show. Then she joined All About the Tea to talk about the people on the show, even though she was over the show. And now that there is a pile-on, Buffy is right there. She has every right to do that. Everybody does have the right to do whatever they want. Oh. It felt strange. Buffy is a very successful Black woman. Her husband is a very successful man. They have a very successful business. It was just kind of strange to me to team up with All About the Tea. And shout out to All About the Tea. You never thought I would say that, but shout out to All About the Tea. After everything happened with her YouTube channel, All About the Tea kept on pushing, is being featured on Bravo, and can still pull interviews like this with Mariah. So, you know, people don't see that, but that woman, Monica, definitely is still making moves. She's just not making moves on YouTube, but that does not mean she's disappeared. She's been featured on Bravo multiple times. So we're going to get into that. But this is what Buffy had to say. If you guys don't remember Buffy has kind of become very popular, I believe, on Instagram and YouTube because she does a lot of tax tips. That's one thing you definitely can't take away from Buffy. Buffy is... Hold on. So I want you guys to see what she had to say, and then I'm going to show you what the full clip was, and then you guys can kind of make your mind up. Let's see. Here we go.
Times as African American women, we're a bit more dramatic.
Wait,
it's hard.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wrong clip. My bad. Here's Buffy's.
Said this herself, right? And for all y'all elder OBGYN fans out there, you could scroll on because you done drank the Kool-Aid, the tea, the poison, the whatever, and ain't nothing I'm gonna say get you to see the light of day. So you can scroll on. And this is my platform, and I can say what the hell I want because I've actually met the bitch. Okay. The old biddy. And I can age shame her all she want because she shamed my motherfucking uterus.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
All right. So let's begin. Y'all, Bravo, because that's who set this shit up with Kamala. Y'all should have let Simone do that interview. Y'all should have let Simone.
Now, this is where I agree. Buffy has every right to say what she wants, but it sounds bitter. It sounds like she's upset that Dr. Jackie got to do that with her Sora. You don't technically know who set what up, but okay.
Simone do that. Y'all should have let. I know y'all trying to save her career because I showed everybody who the hell she really is. I know, and y'all paying her all this damn money that she don't damn earn. Because
it feels like you're mad. It's extremely upset upset. I get you're angry, but it's now been years. This is coming off more like you are upset that this woman is still in a position of power on Bravo. She still brings in a lot of money. She took her money, Dr. Jackie, that is, took her money and actually built up her own like practice from the ground up. Like she has her own building. Like
What Curtis said this season. Yeah, I'm watching the season now. It's a good season. I'm watching it. Sweet Tea, shout out to Sweet Tea. That's why I'm watching it. She said this herself, right? And for all y'all elder OBGYN fans out there, you can scroll on because you done drank the Kool-Aid, the tea, the poison, or whatever, and ain't nothing I'm gonna say get you to see the light of day. So you can scroll on. And this is my platform, and I can say what the hell I want because I've actually met the bitch. Okay. The old biddy. And I can age shame her all she wants because she shamed my motherfucking uterus. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Y'all Bravo, because that's what y'all should have let Dr. Simone do that. First of all, Jackie don't even have no damn regular black clients, allegedly. If you're a rich black woman, you can go to her ass. She don't take no damn Medicaid, no. She don't take, like, the people that.
Have you researched that? This is what I'm saying. I'm torn because Buffy has every right to be upset, but it feels like you are bitter. Like that's the thing. It feels like you're bitter. And yeah, to the person who said let her speak, I give commentary. If you like, this is on Buffy's channel. So if you wanted to hear Buffy all the way through without her commentary, you probably need to go to her channel.
They're talking about the people they're talking about black mortality rates for pregnant women. She don't see them damn people. I bet she didn't tell Candy and the rest of them people you don't need to be called off work during their pregnancy if they came in there with some damn problems. But the ones who ain't got a coin to pay you in cash, they need to prove without a shadow of a doubt that they're in fact in pain. And you a black doctor saying this fucking shit.
Now, I do agree. Even if, and we're going to get into the full clip, I feel like Dr. Jackie has a obligation almost to be smarter than that. Taking this clip, whether it was in its entirety or not, it's not a great look. I like Dr. Jackie, I really do. Outside of black female mortality rates, black people in general are also underprescribed pain medicine. That's men and women, and that also includes Hispanic people. This is what I was saying, guys. I like Dr. Jackie. I really, really do like Dr. Jackie. However, I do think that these conversations need to be had. And although Buffy to me sounds bitter, I agree with opening the floor for conversation. If you don't believe me, you can look up the statistics. Black people are underprescribed pain medication. It's the same thing that I did with the racism explained in 30 seconds. Black women are what's the term? Where we're kidnapped and sold off. What is the term, y'all? Black women are trafficked at higher rates because people think that we won't look for them. Little black girls are taken advantage of because people feel they're older. Black people aren't prescribed pain medicine because black people don't feel pain at the same rate. Trafficking. Thank you, guys. So I do think these conversations need to be had. We're going to listen to we're going to be fair to Dr. Jackie, and we're going to listen to everything that she said. But Tay says they teach doctors we have a higher pain tolerance in med school. All that needs to be discussed. I'm telling you guys, I'm shady, but I'm fair. Just because Buffy's not my favorite does not mean that I can't pull things that she says and agree with.
Right? Why I got so much smoke? Okay, so I'm gonna share something with y'all, and I shared this with the producers of Married to Medicine when I was on the show. My aunt Dee Dee died in childbirth. Her daughter survived. I'm so thankful her dad is gonna let her spend Christmas at my house, at our house this year. January 9th is the day that my aunt died and my little cousin's birthday. And my aunt went to her doctor, who's a Black woman, and said she was having headaches and having pains, and she didn't believe my aunt. She didn't believe her. She didn't believe her. And I remember January 8th like it was yesterday. And there's so many things I wish that I had done differently. My aunt wasn't feeling well. We had a funeral in our family the next day, and I said, I better not see you. You better not be at that funeral. I better not hear that you went to that funeral. You need to stay in bed and rest. And she had gone to the doctor on January 8th, and they sent her home, and her blood pressure was through the roof. Died in childbirth. The next morning, her husband took her to the emergency room, and my aunt.
I feel absolutely horrible for Buffy's family to go through that. You went through a death, you were at a funeral, and then you lose somebody in childbirth. Absolutely horrible, gut-wrenching. And after I heard this part, I said, okay, outside of my personal thoughts on Buffy, this feels personal to her, and I get it. I'm shady, but I'm fair. I get it. Buffy is having a very visceral reaction to something she heard from somebody she already doesn't like. And what we are seeing is the aftermath of that. I told you guys, the Buffy fans probably weren't going to like me today. The Jackie fans probably weren't going to like me today, but it is what it is. I call things like I see it. Y'all, one time Buffy responded to me. I was like,
had a stroke. They took the baby and she died. All because her doctor thought she wasn't really in pain. Stupid shit like the elder OBGYN just said kills people. It really does. It also puts this burden on Black women that we can't be human, that we have to be sharp as iron and strong as steel all the time, even while bringing life into this world. And that's just not fair. You think if a Black woman doctor thinks that folk that don't look like us don't think that?
So, okay, I want you guys to hear the full clip of Dr. Jackie. Hold on. Of Dr. Jackie and Heavenly. You know what? Y'all think Dr. Jackie would come on and talk about this on the show? I do have a connection now to Heavenly. Maybe I could try to arrange that. We'll see.
What was the question?
Black females, why more mortality rate with Black females?
Now, I wish we knew the answer, and I will not allow myself to say it is health disparity only. When same thing we're seeing with the CV, as you've told me, we have to say is we as a race have more comorbidities. And what do we mean by that? Diabetes, hypertension, asthma, thyroid, the things that can compound already having that, and you turn around and get COVID, or you're pregnant, or CV, then you definitely are seeing African-American women with more maternity deaths. Care is important. Crazy enough, we still see patients come into the hospital that patient has not seen a doctor her entire pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And she comes in 5. What was the question?
Black females, why more mortality rate with Black females?
Now, steroids, we're more likely to have hemorrhage in pregnancy or after delivery if you have fibroids. So it's so many things that go into that picture. And I don't want us to think it's just that doctors aren't taking care of Black women. Because I can certainly say for the doctors in my practice and around me, we give everybody equal care. Now, I'm going to qualify this and be Dr. Heavenly for a minute. Sometimes as African-American women, we're a bit more dramatic, and that you go to the doctor and you complain and you complain and you complain, and you're not taken serious because you cried wolf the entire pregnancy.
That ain't me, boo. I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
I didn't say you. I just said as African-American women, we want to also make sure you're being serious with your doctor and not playing the game so I can take you off work. Because then we see you 25 times in the pregnancy. Steroids.
I tried to compare how Buffy felt, and I took Buffy's actual emotional reaction and applied it to what Dr. Jackie was saying. Was Dr. Jackie saying she does not believe that Black women go through what they go through in their pregnancy, or was she talking about an extreme case where somebody just kept saying, you know, I want to take off? I don't know. I don't know. I'm leaning towards it was not an appropriate comment, Dr. Jackie. That might be her actual stance, but I don't know. I would need to talk to her. Because, or maybe I'll talk to some of my doctor friends, because doctors are humans too. They do talk, about things and how they feel, and people do get over, but I just don't know. A Black female doctor in a public platform, given the opportunity to talk about Black female mortality rates, and then going into a flippant comment about the women who actually just want to get off work. Like, what percentage of your patients are actually doing that? I told you guys there's a lot of gray area, but I'm leaning towards what Buffy was saying. You kind of have you have a responsibility, because you are, in my opinion, Dr. Jackie kind of carries a crown. She really doesn't go low very often. You are a doctor. You are a Black female doctor, and specifically, this is your field. I would need to actually ask her if this was a comment that she meant to make, but okay.
We're more likely to have him. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem. It's hard to believe.
Okay, so this was Jackie's response. Recently, a clip from nearly a 2-hour video was taken out of context to make it appear that I somehow take lightly what I have advocated for concerning the devastating problem facing the Black maternal health crisis. It has been my life's work to highlight and attempt to rectify the issue that devastatingly impact Black maternal mothers versus our counterparts. As a physician, I educate my patients every day to be their own best health advocate. As we continue to face medical mistreatment and gaslighting, my intention with the broader conversation was to ensure patients enter their pregnancies armed with information and tools to effectively communicate their needs with their doctors to ensure a positive outcome. The reason I became an OBGYN is because growing up, I saw a lack of diversity amongst medical professionals and was determined to be a part of the change. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I will continue to fight for the lives of Black mothers and babies. I don't know if that went far enough. I feel like this was a very well-written public, like a PR response. I almost wish she would have walked back that, or at least given us more context. You know what I mean? I wish she would have walked back the statement, or like at least said what I was talking about was something very specific, but let's actually engage in conversation about Black female mortality rates and doctors not believing them. I think that would have been better. Worry about yourself. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Guys, we got like 1,200 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're actually less than 1,000 of people away now from hitting our 100K. Dr. Jackie, I would like to talk to you. I really would. Even if it's just off the record. I get a lot of off the record phone calls now. Buffy, my heart goes out to you. Losing, I believe she said it was her aunt, and losing that family member had to be devastating. And I completely understand Buffy being triggered. And it's important to know, guys, that the statistic that I threw out is very true. Black people, Hispanic people are, let me get to the statistic so you guys can actually see it. Serious racial disparities exist in the U.S. healthcare system. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Black and Hispanic people receive worse care on 40% of the department's care quality measures. Racial disparities are particularly striking in pain treatment, with studies showing that Black patients are significantly less likely to be prescribed pain medicine, and that they generally receive lower doses of it when they are. So, you know, we can be shady, we can be whatever, but that's important. Okay, now let's get into Mariah, y'all. Mariah came up and showed out for us, and here we go. Also, shout out to VS Icon. I reached out to her today, let her know we would be using her clip. She said, cool. So shout out to her. And also shout out to Mariah. Not only did Mariah end up suing Bravo, but Mariah is still working. She just built this set, basically. So you can go take pictures. You can film in it. It's like her own building that has like cool little backdrops and everything if you want to do photo shoots or if you want to do your own podcast. So shout out to her for still being an entrepreneur. Remember, this was Mariah's show that she put together. She shopped it to multiple networks. She shopped it to celebrities she knew. She really put in the work. And 10 years later, for a reality show to still be going is nothing to scoff at. It's really not.
Mariah, what do you think about the demand from fans to bring you back onto the Married to Medicine show?
I love that fans miss me and want me and desire more of me. But I think my role as it relates to Married to Medicine has been etched in stone as the creator, and executive producer. And I think I left my mark. Honey, the girls are going in a very different direction. So I love that fans want me back. But I think if I ever were to have a role back, they all would probably want to be in caskets. But I think if I ever were to have a role, it would be much like one of my counterparts, Mr. Andy Cohen. And I love to sit on the couch and ask the girls a few questions and bring a book of receipts, So that's what I feel like my role would be.
I would not want her to do that. I want her to be back on the show. Because Mariah is biased. I think she's funny. Actually, to be honest, y'all, and y'all might get mad, but if we're doing a reboot of Atlanta, Mariah is a Tennessee peach at this point. Why not put Mariah on RHOA? She already has a relationship with Nene. They're actually good friends. I know they say we need fresh blood, but just the outpouring of support from Mariah, I think she would be great on RHOA. Like maybe her time on Married to Medicine has passed, but she's still very funny. I would like to see it. She's about to be an empty nester, so who knows what's about to go on.
If I were to ever be a part of the Married to Medicine franchise again.
The show certainly does look a lot different from the show you created, doesn't it?
Well, it looks different, but to me, I see a lot of the same old pettiness. To me, it's almost as if there is an unwritten rule or script that says you have to isolate, put someone on an island, bully, invite and uninvite. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen it 10 seasons ago with me. So, you know, I hate that part of it. I don't think you have to isolate, you know, and be mean and bully people. I think you can read the girls.
Now, hold on, Mariah. I like Mariah, but I'm going to call it like I see it, y'all. Mariah put together a cast of dynamic Black women, doctors, and the ones that were not doctors. But what Mariah wanted was a group of people to kiss the ring. I honestly feel that. If you recall, Mariah, they had this event at her home. Mariah has a beautiful home. And the girls were supposed to stand outside and watch Mariah leave her house and walk down the patio. And they were all supposed to say how beautiful her home was. And they'd all been to her house. Like, I do feel like Mariah wanted them to kiss the ring. And to be honest, I think that Quad did Mariah wrong. But I do think that Mariah had an expectation that Quad would be the underdog forever. And Quad became one of the breakout stars because, as we all know, people love an underdog story who's on the rise. That was Quad and Mariah. So I'm not going to pretend like Mariah came in and she was innocent. She wasn't. But was Mariah great for the show? She was. And I think Mariah would still be a great reality star.
And, you know, you can have an opinion, but there's no need to minimize somebody to that level.
You're absolutely right. Well, speaking of bullying and minimizing people, Quad, a former friend of yours who's a cast member and Married to Medicine, or was a cast member, how do you feel about Quad being kicked off the show?
You know, I'm not sure, honestly, how I feel about it. I think I'm still kind of taking it in. I'm not sure if I think that is actually going to play out with her being off the show. I don't know if it's to get this type of response or get us, you know, to talk about it. I think right now the show has a lot of.
I laugh because All About the Tea went straight into it. And y'all know old Mariah, when she did interviews, she really doesn't do a lot of interviews. She did one with Carlos King. Old Mariah really does not go into too much. This interview was no holds bars.
Afterthoughts and a lot of commentary about, you know, her role or lack thereof with the role. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. I do think the way in which it was done was very low. I do. I mean, I didn't like them inviting her, you know, all those miles away to California just to send her home. I thought it was pathetic. And I think that there are different depths of desperation. And I just didn't like it for whoever it was. Forget that it was Quad. I think that they should be better than that. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I agree. Have we seen people ice people out? Yes. Did we see them ice Mariah out? Yes. I still don't quite understand why Mariah was kicked off her own show. I don't know if it was like a focus group. I don't know if Andy or the powers that be just didn't really like her. That was weird to me. I don't think she ever should have been kicked off. Now, you can't be trying to break a glass, be an executive producer, and threaten to cut somebody. I did think that was over the top, and I'm not taking that back. But I did not understand why she just wasn't there. She wasn't even given the opportunity to get like a send-off, like they try to do, give you at least 3 to 5 episodes on the next season so they can close out your story. It felt like Mariah's story was incomplete on Married to Medicine.
Like any of it. It was brutal to watch. And I typically watch it on Empire or if you get or people get, a lot of the bloggers get snippets of it. But I watched that episode and I was clutching my pearls. What can I say? I felt horrible for her.
Well, it sounds like you kind of have a soft spot for Quad. And I know you guys have been friends for many, many, many years. If Quad was to reach out to you tomorrow, what would that conversation sound like?
You know, to be perfectly honest with you, it's not about Quad. I have a soft spot for women. I think
I believe she filed that lawsuit is really after they let her go. I think they filed it after they let her go, or she filed it after they let her go.
That just as women, we should treat each other, you know, treat one another a certain way. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, you know, I shade the girls and do the most. But
she did shade them. Mariah has some great one-liners. Fliff0504, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you guys. We got like almost 1,500 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. It lets YouTube know that we are here and we are clowning and we are having a good time with who would ever thought Mariah and All About the Tea. And for anybody who used to watch All About the Tea, because I watched All About the Tea's daytime panel in 2020. I watched it like every day. Her voice sounds a little different. Y'all think she was sick? Y'all think Monica was sick? Let me know.
Compass. And I feel like I'm cut from a different cloth as it relates to that. So I don't know what a conversation between Quad and I would look like, because for me, she still hasn't taken some accountability with things that happen in our relationship or friendship, and a lot of the lies that were told about me. However, I think Quad has been through a lot, just as I have.
Y'all, we got a whole gray area. Quad has been through a hell of a lot. Quad adopted that little girl and she passed away in Quad's pool while she was under Quad's care. That is something that my heart will always go out to Quad for. She has been through a lot. But in terms of with Mariah, allegedly you were dating her drug dealing cousin when the cousin got locked up, as drug dealers often do. You got evicted and you went to go live with Mariah. Mariah, I believe, in my opinion, set her up with this medical sales position, which got her hooked up with the doctor. Dr. G then provided her the lifestyle that she needed to come on the show with Mariah. I do think that Quad is, to some degree, a social climber, and it has worked. She has a mansion, she has notoriety, but the issue that I have with Quad is you were phoning it into Married to Medicine. And that's why the ladies were upset. When it was time for you to sail off and you were going to do that other talk show, it was like the Married to Medicine cast was beneath you. That talk show did not work out. Then all of a sudden you want to be back in their lives. Married to Medicine is one of those casts that are really friends off of the show. So Quad, you came in, you helped get rid of your best friend. You really didn't want to be there once you thought you had money. You didn't need Dr. G anymore, all that kind of stuff. And now you need the show because you have all these bills. Even with that being said, I still did not like the way that they kicked Quad off the cast trip. This one is a tough one, y'all. I usually have like a really clear point of view, but there's so many gray areas, so many hurt feelings with this cast, with Married to Medicine as in general. It's a lot.
And I think you grow up, and so I'm not sure what that conversation would look like, but my heart goes out to her with the way she was treated.
I'll take the next one here.
I'm not playing Quad. I'm not saying she didn't have a degree. What I'm saying was, we now know she dated a drug dealer. When that did not work out, she got evicted from her home. So I don't know what else to say. That's what has been put out there. And I believe Aiden, he didn't have a reason to lie. He said that girl was living in her car and we took her in. I'm not going to ever take that from Mariah. That is being a good friend. Now, did it cut into her ego somewhat when Quad became a breakout star of her show? Yes, I'm sure it did. And it probably did impact the way she treated Quad. But with that being said, I would never be a person who lived in my car and you took me in with your family and really helped me out when you didn't have to, and I'm going to turn my back and take money out of your pocket. I'm just not built that way. Can I see things from a full perspective? Yes, now that we have all the information, but I just couldn't do that. We would be mad each day, but we would still be making our money, because I would remember that you held me down when I didn't have. Just saying.
And I'm just wondering, for someone that's currently in an unscripted television or pursuing that venture, what advice would you give them based on the experience with you and what we witnessed with Quad that does happen?
Don't do a show with a lot of fish, a lot of women. I'm just joking.
Let me see. Let me put this over here closer. It says, so which one was it? Did Quad live with them or did they help her out? Brianna, the story goes, like I just said, after the drug dealer went to jail, Quad got evicted. and then Quad allegedly was living in her car. Mariah moved her into the house and helped her out. So allegedly it was both. Moved her in and helped her out. Set her up, put her on this show, and now she has a better life. Similar to even look at Nene and Kim Zolciak. With Nene and Kim Zolciak, Kim was just making her rounds with all these married men. Big Papa was not the only married men that Kim Zolciak was with. She was with another man who bought her that original townhome in Sugarloaf. Nene changed the trajectory of Kim Zolciak's life. And even Kim had to say that, yes, you changed the trajectory of my life, because without her, she would have still been laying it low and spreading it wide with all them married men around Buckhead, allegedly.
Be your best self. You know, you may not necessarily fit in, but sometimes sticking out like a sort of thumb works. Be yourself, whether people love it or hate it. Be your best you. And, you know, I just think you can't go wrong when you're being authentic. I think, you know, people sense that, and it's very relatable. And I mean, they'll love you or hate you, but, you know, they'll respect you for being you. Nobody can beat you at being you, you know?
The other point, yes.
Absolutely. You know what? I want to circle back to Quad since we're on the topic.
I agree. She don't have.
We give Miss Moore a whole lot of time.
We sure is. Well, you know what? She's a hot topic and she was trending. So, you know, we might as well, since we're here, we might as well.
Okay.
How do you feel, how did Quad's drug allegations affect you at that time?
Ooh, let me tell you something. I think that was.
I was waiting to see how she was going to answer this.
Why would you even be accused of something like that?
Cocaine. I did not ever believe that Mariah did that, and I also didn't believe that Quad had slept with her brother-in-law.
Was the lowest of the low, and to hear these ladies talk of accountability so much, and know that I was drugged that way in terms of being, you know, accused of being Rudolph with white nose, and the fact that she would say these things on national TV, knew it wasn't true, and none of them, you know, came to my defense and knew how much, you know, I carry myself as a woman, and it really hurt me. It tore into me, and it took something away from me. And what hurt me was that I was dealing with other things. I was slaying bigger dragons, and I could not sue her at the time, because that's a lot of the questions that I get.
So we learned that around that time, Mariah had, I believe she had just lost a baby, right? She had just had correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a kind of person where I put myself in your shoes. I started this show. I might have made some mistakes. I just lost a baby, and now I'm basically being voted off the island. Put yourself in her shoes, even if you're not a Mariah fan. That's some deep stuff to put a person through. We think of it as just a reality show, but if I formed a reality show, that reality show is my baby, and now I'm off of it, and I just actually lost the baby. It's a lot.
You know, why didn't I give her defamation? I would have, but honey, if you're roasting a beluga whale, you can't go after, you know, a sardine. You know, it's just my focus was not on what Quad was saying, but I was hurt by it. But I was hurt more than anything that this group of doctors and doctors' wives knew. You know, I had been a drug rep, I had been a reputable medical salesperson, and I was the owner of the franchise. And I've always been professional, and I've never done recreational drugs, so I thought it was bullshit, quite frankly. And I think that, you know, those are some questions that they should still be asking, and they knew it. You know, they knew it was wrong, and they went along with it. So I at that point, I knew that their hate for me outweighed anything.
Absolutely.
Well, then, with that being said, I'm just curious, what do you think is harder, being married to medicine or being a doctor?
Ooh,
thank you so much for joining the membership, VS Icon. This is actually her video. Like I told you guys earlier, she keeps her ear to the streets. Let's see. And we got Obi. I was always taught through my years of training to take every single complaint from a patient very seriously. In essence, in the practice of medicine, there should be no such thing as crying wolf. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Obi is a person who would know, because Obi is in the medical field, you guys. Shout out to Obi. He also has a channel. And thank you for being a member for 8 months. Obi says, however, what Jackie said isn't completely false, and it sounds like she was discouraging people from doing it. If I'm wrong, let me know. I did think there was a gray area, but like I said a little bit earlier, I really felt like Jackie should have maybe walked back some of those statements as it pertained to the question about the Black female mortality rate in pregnancy. Just give more context into that and give us less of a PR statement and more just kind of like speak from the heart as a person who works with Black females giving birth every day. But thank you for that insight, Obi. Again, he is a medical professional, you guys.
I don't think it's really a comparison. I think that they are different paths. I think being a physician is a very, very hard thing. And that's why I was so intrigued by, the field of medicine and I really wanted to give these ladies, the glory and show how hard it is to go in to save lives, the husbands, whether it was a husband or wife, I wanted to show the sacrifices in medicine. So I'm not sure which is harder. I don't think it's fair to really compare them. But I think that there is definitely a special kind of love that we should give to people that have to face that type of, to have to face illness and death every single day. I don't know that I could do that.
Totally. Now, you put a lot of Americans to work.
Yes, honey, I did. Talk about it, Steve. Talk about it, Steve. Give me more. Give me people a job.
Exactly.
Yes, honey.
So when it appeared that they flipped on you on the show and everything,
They flip on my wrist. Yes, they did, honey.
what was your biggest struggle with that? What was your internal battle?
I don't know. I faced a lot of battles. I faced a lot of battles with that, loyalty. I faced the battle of, was this was my dream and I shared it with these ladies. And I never, ever, I wanted us to all grow together. And it really, really bothered me.
I love Mariah, but I think she wanted to be Nene. I really do think Mariah was great for the show, but I think she thought that she was going to be Nene like that. And I do think that some of her shine or some of her luster was dimmed because people saw that she felt like she was better than people like Quad. But, it was her show. But I do think that she believed these things.
I'm the tree, okay, and you are rich. No,
because I felt as if it tore me up in the inside. Not that they owed me anything, but I just thought the least they could do is say thank you. You know what I mean? Yes. I think that they gave me their asses to kids, and it just really, I just didn't understand it. It was hurtful.
Shame on them.
Yeah, it was very hurtful. But
it was a tit for tat, ma'am.
receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts.
It was a tit for tat.
I think that in the end, you don't sometimes do things, for people to say, thank you. Sometimes God used you as a vessel. And I had to realize that's what I was. I was a vessel. They don't owe me anything. Respect would be great, but you know what? It comes, I get it from other places. And so I'm blessed.
You truly are. You truly are. I have a two-part question because since we're on the topic of doctors, we're going to get into some things. Dr. Jackie. Now, she's been making some headlines lately, but let me start with my first question. You mentioned we talked about the drug allegations and how those allegations made you feel.
Yeah.
And during that time, I remember it was like a 5-panel drug test that went back 5 years, hair follicles and all kinds of stuff. And you were looking for support and you said, Jackie, can you please read the drug test? Because you're a doctor, this is very technical stuff.
Yeah.
And she could have exonerated you at that point, but she didn't. How did that make you feel?
Although it made me feel bad, I think that it showed who she was. For me, it did. I saw exactly who she was because outside of me, she took a medical oath. I'm not her patient, but to see a drug test and not even say, no, this is wrong or this is right, but this translates to X, Y, and Z. I saw something different in her, and they had kind of poked out in different situations, but I'm not surprised with any of the things that's going on with the controversy with Jackie, because she's shown that since season 1. We've seen how she treated obese ladies, and we've seen how she's judged a lot of women. I mean, you give her grace because she's Dr. Jackie, but she ain't Jesus. And and she makes mistakes like the rest of us. So
now, when Dr. Jackie, look, there's one thing that Dr. Jackie told Heavenly, because I'm a Married to Medicine super fan. Dr. Jackie told Heavenly, at least I don't look like a busted can of biscuits. Dr. Jackie used to get with Heavenly. That's why Heavenly has a respect for Dr. Jackie. Now, Mariah, you then said that woman had an over-underbite. Y'all definitely would read each other down. Y'all remember what she said about Simone? She said something like, I don't want to have a such and such. And then she did this. You remember that? You talk about the people. Y'all gave it as much as you got it.
I think one of the problems with the show is that we have put her so much on a pedestal. And why? Because because her patients are celebrities. We got to do better with that. And I think that was a part of my lesson in this journey, putting people on pedestals. Yes, they're doctors. I wanted to pay homage because of our work and the sacrifice, but they're still people. I mean, and some of them, like my mama could say, it's nothing worse than an educated fool.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we love Mama Lucy.
I know.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. You're right. You can't go to Dr. Jackie's office weighing more than 175 without her tearing your head off. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are so right. So what are your thoughts on Jackie saying that Black women cry wolf and lie?
Okay. Imagine Mama Lucy, Mama Joyce, and the old lady gang, Jim Jones' mama, Frankie, Keisha Cole's mama, and Scrappy's mama, Mama D. Can y'all imagine them around Atlanta hanging out? Can y'all imagine them hanging out? They would run the show. That's the show I need to see. And I know, rest in peace, Frankie. Frankie's no longer with us. But those mamas, that is the show that needs to get filmed. That's the show that needs to get filmed. Oh, okay. We got a couple more. Shay, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Beautiful Shalom. Intentions doesn't tallest equal impact. Beautiful Shalom. Don't do another super chat, but you can put in the comments, kind of like expound on your thought, and I will pull it up. Brian, it said, I just rewatched the Mariah and Toya fight from season 1, and she was acting geeked up with Toya. Something was happening in that Hummer limo. Oh, wow. Allegedly. That's from Brian. Thank you for the super chat. Brian said it, not me. Brian said that, not me.
Why would you even be accused of something like that? Okay.
We know where Brian was getting at, and I do not know that that is the case. Sassy girl, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. I appreciate you. Ma Dukes would be leading the way. Now, y'all know Scrappy's mama used to be a pimp. So we don't know what she'd be doing. But Scrappy's mama is the reason that Scrappy is still on Love and Hip Hop to this day.
To get out of work while pregnant. This is a doctor saying this.
I think that it's horrid for her to plant that kind of seed about Black women when we are already fighting so many stereotypes and preconceived notions. But I think it's great that she's telling you what she really thinks. I think it's great that we've seen what she thinks about Black women, and think that we're crying wolf. And I think that we just have to take a step back, and when people show you who they are, believe them. So I hate that she's made those comments, but I saw who she was.
Where is it? Oh.
Well, if you believe them, you're the fool.
When she compared me to herpes, and she's an OBGYN and treat people with venereal diseases daily, so I was one of the victims of her spewed hate, and people kind of swept it under the rug because it was Dr. Jackie, and we got to stop doing that with people. Yeah. No matter how many letters they have behind their name. Yeah.
Yeah. Feel bad for her.
Yeah, I can't imagine how patients feel. Yeah. Well, I think she's at a place now. I don't think she takes like Medicare or Medicaid. She has the upper echelon people. Like you have to be a.
Now, y'all did clock that, right? You did clock this. Y'all, I'm sorry. I don't know how not to be me. I see things in real time, right? I see things in real time. This, Mariah knew, and Mariah is very savvy when it comes to the media. She knew that this would go viral, right? Buffy and Mariah are still presumably friends. They are repeating the same sound bites. So this is not in any small part. I believe that this is definitely something contrived. That interview was over 2 years old. Buffy brought it up at a time that Mariah was going to go viral. There's not going to be a time that anything happens with Bravo and Mariah actually chooses to give an interview that she's not going to go viral. I do think that there was a bit of overlap, and that's why they are repeating the same sound bites about Dr. Jackie.
Certain, there's a certain type of patient that Jackie now sees. Yeah.
That's pretty ironic considering on her conference call with VP Harris, they talked about Medicaid patients and how we need to advocate for them. And Jackie agreed with that and gave the impression that that's the community she serves.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with Mariah. I'm just calling it like I see it. Yes, there is some overlap and they use the exact same verbiage. Now, whether Buffy got that information about Dr. Jackie from Mariah or vice versa, whomever, they use the same verbiage. I just call it like I see it.
When in fact,
No,
that's not true.
No, it's not. And I don't think that is the person that we need or want representing that patient population. My sister almost died in childbirth. She dealt with the exact same.
Okay. Okay. It says, Mims, Dr. Jackie's medical practice website will state what forms of payment insurance accepted. It's the fact that they went to the website to find out, guys. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying that some things are contrived and some things are done for the sake of media exposure, attention. And I do feel like that overlap and them using the same verbiage to talk about Dr. Jackie is I mean, I don't know how it's what I do. In real life too, not just on YouTube. I can see, okay. Beautiful Shalom says, intentions doesn't always equal impact. If something you do as a healthcare professional causes harm or confusion, acknowledgement goes a long way. I would agree with that, Beautiful Shalom. And you didn't have to send another super chat. Thank you for doing it, but you didn't have to. I would have read your comment without you having to do that.
Thing she said to her doctor, I feel a certain kind of way. I think she may have had toxemia or, and it just, her doctor didn't listen and she almost died. I mean, so we have to listen when your patients, I tell Aiden every single time he walks in to see a patient, I say, you go in there with an open heart and open mind. Mm-hmm. You really truly have to listen to your patient. You can't judge people. You really can't. So I think it's horrible that she said those things, but I'm not surprised. And I'm surprised that everybody in the world is acting so surprised because y'all know who Dr. Jackie is. I told y'all a long time ago.
You did.
Y'all know who she is.
You certainly did.
Mm-hmm. She showed her slip a long time ago.
Exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there a new cast member that you would like to share some tea with?
I'm sorry, Afrobeatnik. I don't know what happened. Hold on.
The new cast members, and
I'm sorry, Afrobeatnik. I don't know exactly what happened to you, but I believe that something did, and I'm sorry that you went through that. Yes, Kim. She had adopted a little girl. I believe her and her mother were raising her in Quad's home, and she lost her life in the pool when Quad, I think somebody was taking care of her that day. Like Quad wasn't home. So my heart really goes out to Quad and her family for that. Chanel Foss, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. And yeah, just simply, you're right. We got over 1,700 in chat. Definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you are not subscribed. We are super close to hitting our 100,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for all, the support and being here. I appreciate you. Even when we don't agree, that's the good thing about us. We don't have to agree over here. I see you guys in the comments going at it, but you guys are doing it in a respectful way. So, I don't try to control you guys.
I think it's I wouldn't want them to go in. I think you have to make an assessment on your own when you go in. I think that's the worst thing you could do is go in and give your opinion in your relationship. Right. And sometimes it's a hindrance because when Buffy came on, I remember I loved her. Like, I really liked Buffy. We hit it off. But I didn't want to be too close to her because I knew that they would isolate her for being my friend. So, no, there's not a new cast member I would share anything with. I tell them, keep your eyes open, honey. Sleep with them open on the trips. And remember, what people do to others, they will do to you in opportune time.
Absolutely.
Period.
Speaking of Buffy Purcell, sorry, Steve, I would love to see Buffy Purcell come back on Married to Medicine.
Well, too, yes, honey. Let me tell you something.
I would not.
People have slept. I don't know if they slept on Buffy or they don't talk about Buffy. The ladies don't on the show. But baby, when I told you that lady came and she was so authentic, she was fire. I didn't cast Buffy. I cast the rest of the ladies. But baby, I hate that I did not. She is amazing, inside and out, beautiful. And she held every one of those ladies accountable. They couldn't take Buffy. They couldn't take Miss Buffy, baby. They could not take Buffy, honey. Buffy came through. She did. And had receipts too.
Shining.
Yeah.
Now, Mariah, I gotta call a spade a spade. Mariah thought that Lisa Nicole was very, very boring. What did she say? You didn't like that I called you boring, did you? You are very, very, very interesting. But you didn't like her until she was up under you. Just saying, y'all became good friends when y'all were able to team up.
Yeah. She's all about the numbers. I like her though, and I like her relationship with her husband, and I like her style. I just like Buffy.
I love Buffy.
She was so confident. It was beautiful, and I just have this core group who think they don't know that they have.
Do you know Dr. G's new wife, Sweet Tea? Have you met her?
I haven't. I've seen her on TV. She reminds me so much of Toya. You know, she has something about her look. She kind of had something about her. She just favors Toya.
I have been saying the same thing. Dr. G probably had a crush on Toya because that Sweet Tea is Toya's twin. I was saying it as soon as everything came out. I was like, they're not twins. That's a triplet. That's a trio. Eugene, you better watch Dr. G around Toya.
I've never met her. I spoke, I think, a couple times to the showrunner, James Knox, and he spoke really highly of her and said she was just sweet and lovable and a country girl. So, I mean,
you can join the membership. There's a link in the description of every video to join the membership if you would like to. Thank you, Too Grown for You.
I think I love her. Based on that, just what I've been told about her, she seems to be a sweet girl.
She does seem like a sweet girl.
Yeah.
Do you think the show was an accurate portrayal of you?
Had an accurate portrayal because they didn't see my mom and my sister. They just
your brainchild.
Came out, same cars, everything.
Your photos and your posts.
So
absolutely. Yeah. And you do your feet.
She said it was cringy.
To be political. And speaking of politics, do you think politics played a part of what ended your time on Married to Medicine?
In Washington, in front of the camera, I want you to know I was fighting hell behind it. And it was really, really.
Remember, we've had many conversations, and it was just unbelievable. One hurdle after the next. One thing, you never had a moment to breathe.
Now they're feeding off each other. I really think what we're saying about me is how they are when they were cast. You don't want to be here. And I'm not saying that she does. I don't know. But I know that is a part of the language and the narrative. Those are the same things they said to me. So why are y'all doing this? She said to me, I'll never forget. Oh, the audience loves when we come up against you. So in their mind, I think it gets more ratings. I think they get more ratings.
I want to get her part on
in their mind, or it gets more talk or hype or whatever. So they think it's cute.
And it's not. It wasn't cute.
It's not.
Witness.
It's not.
No.
Even if it's quieter, for me to say that, you have to know. I mean, I think it's horrible that none of them would stand up. And I don't know what Quad did to them. And half of what they said probably is true. But they went along with it. They created that monster. Yes. They went along with it.
They definitely did. But I'm not going to lie. Now that we have seen Quad with Carlos King.
Club. That was very nice for you to support her.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I know. So they kicked you out of the winery to make sure you have some wine, child.
And I still got some grapes.
Right, does look good.
I just happened to be in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because I saw the last episode. And
here's the thing. First of all, I got so much to say.
When you experienced what happened to you this season of Married to Medicine,
it appeared that the girls were icing you out. They didn't want you there anymore.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that as well. But in that moment, did you feel like, is this what Mariah felt like?
I felt like I see now.
You're so classy.
Okay. Let me take this off the screen. It took you experiencing what she experienced to see that what happened to Mariah was wrong. WTF, Quad. That is the problem that people have with you. I'm not on the show. I've had best friends. One of the core issues that a lot of people, including myself, had with Nene was you have a fallout with Cynthia and you try to take food off her plate. You had a fallout with somebody that was your best friend. And we all know about the drunken night with Funky Dineva, Quad, Mariah. I do believe that Quad had a very visceral reaction to Quad at that STK because it's like, you're my best friend. I didn't put you on, all this kind of stuff. Quad, this is the crux of your issue. You move like a social climber. That's fine, but then you forget the people that you came up with. That's what it feels like. And Married to Medicine is a tool for you. And this show is not like RHOA. These people have established friendships beforehand, and they may hate each other today and talk crap about us tomorrow. But what happened to Mariah was wrong. How they tried to ice Quad out is wrong. But you are experiencing exactly what you put out there.
They cheer for it, back then. So why you get mad about it now? Quad was showing up 3 hours late seasons ago, and I would be the person because I believe I'm always tacking on, always on time, So that would irritate me, that when I get to a scene, I'm ready. Let's get a scene. Let's do it.
Yeah.
3-4 hours late, and I'm like, I'm not waiting on anybody to do a scene. I had a nanny, a driver, and a schedule. Time is money. Right. So, they went along with it and thought it was cute back then, but now you want to complain about it 10 seasons later? Nah, I don't about it.
Mm-hmm. Now they doing the rinse and repeat. The same thing they did to you, they doing to Quad.
What do you mean? It says, wait, Mims, what are you talking about? Say it all. I'm lost right here. What happened? Oh, okay. So Carlos King interviewed Quad, and Quad had to admit that she now saw. So I showed you guys the clip of her saying, I see now, meaning Quad now sees what Mariah experienced, and it's not a great feeling. It's also part of the reason why I cannot feel 100% bad for Quad with what happened to her. You can't ice somebody out, want somebody off a show they created, and now that it's your turn, you feel like, it's tugging at our heartstrings. Technically, if we're going to be technical, what happened to Mariah where she, somebody said it was twins that she lost before they were born. She lost her job. She lost her career right at a time where she had lost something that is the most personal thing to a woman. You, Quad, although you have not given birth to a child, when you took the child into your home, the beautiful little girl, and you lost her, you're experiencing all this loss at the time which you might be losing your actual child. That was the correlation the time that you actually lost your child. That was the correlation that I was making. Her and Mariah have something horrible in common now, but it should not have taken you to experience it to understand or have empathy for what Mariah went through at the time. That's what I was saying. What happened with Funky Dineva? Oh, okay. Maybe that's what y'all were talking about. This was years ago, but at the height of Married to Medicine's come up, Funky Dineva was out to dinner with Quad and some other friends. They had already started doing the social stuff. And Mariah walked into STK in Atlanta and allegedly put her hands on Quad because she was allegedly drunk. Funky Dineva has alleged that he actually took Mariah and her car home after that. That was what the allegation was. That's when you were a long time married to medicine, Funky Dineva, Quad, Mariah. That was years ago, but that is what Funky has alleged happened. And I think Quad even said, you know, she had put her hands on her at the STK as well.
Yeah, they are. They are. But she needs to understand that. She doesn't even want to accept that.
I'm using
I feel about them still using my name. This one was created because there was a need for minorities.
Dang it.
People I want to see, you know, passing the torch. So and I have content room.
She went in on Phaedra. But I guess Miss Icon does not have that part. Michelle AT Alien was there and confirmed it. Okay, so y'all some old time Funky, Michelle, Quad watchers. Basically, she went on Phaedra and it was funny. I'll add that to another video because we've already gone long, y'all. But thank you guys for being here. We have a couple more people. Only One Sag Carolyn, thank you so much for joining the membership. Chanel Faust, thank you so much for joining the membership. Too Grown for You, thank you so much for joining the membership. And Hot Honey 914, thank you guys for joining the membership. I'm not done today. I've also, it said, oh, and Rico Chappelle he was in the mix too because he was friends with Mariah and Quad. It was a lot going on back in the day. RHOA was on fire. Married to Medicine was on fire. It was a good time. It was definitely a good time. But guys, I have been researching. I have been deep diving. There's more stuff on Christian Keys. Y'all have been in my inbox hard asking me to figure out about these lawsuits. I have pulled up the lawsuit, so I will be bringing that to you guys. And it's a lot. It's a lot. What's up, Hova? What's up, Angel? I see you guys in here. And that's the thing, Trina. Buffy may not have been my favorite character, but do I think she added something? A little. Definitely. She definitely stayed on people's necks. That's what makes an ensemble cast. Everybody ain't gonna like everybody, but Buffy did have fans, and Buffy definitely has a fan base. She has a big YouTube channel and a big presence on Instagram. So shout out to Buffy for that. Shout out to Buffy for being a Black female business owner. We talk about these shows, but we forget that people like Mariah is making moves. People like Buffy is still making moves outside of reality TV. I was at Dr. Heavenly's place. She is a real life dentist with a really nice office. She's still making moves. Even Dwight, who I met this past weekend, Dwight has an established hair salon for over 30 years. I'll probably be doing an interview with Dwight from RHOA, and we can talk about how he feels about Bravo. So, what's up, Q the Content Guy? I see you guys. Who's Quad? It said Quad, thank you for coming. Bye, Quad. What happened? Quad ain't in here, is she? People been finding my channel, and when people who I be talking about find my channel, it scares me. So I gotta go, y'all. We will be talking about these Christian Keys lawsuits. That will happen. So have a good day, y'all. What did you and Heavenly talk about? We'll talk about that on the interview. Bye, y'all.